So friends, today we will be talking about development departments in a district. You may ask me why we are talking about the development departments. Because India being welfare state, the state intervention in our daily lives have increased manifold, and every day it is touching our lives. I don't know how many of you know that if we have to get a caste certificate, where do we go? Any ideas? Okay, some people know, some people don't know. So that is the importance of knowing about the department. Similarly, how many of you know that there is a department which looks after alternate and renewable energy? Good. So you see, the range is very wide. It touches every part of our life. So we will be talking about the various departments which are functioning in the district. To begin with, we would like to know what is the district administration main functionaries. On the top is district magistrate, and he is assisted by three main functionaries. One is chief development officer, who looks after the developmental programs in the district. Similarly, there is additional district magistrate finance and revenue, who looks after revenue collections and recovery proceedings. And third is ADM city, who is basically concerned with the law and order. So district magistrate is assisted by these three functionaries. As you know, district magistrate is also known as district collector because he also looks after the revenue side of the administration, and there he is assisted by ADM finance and revenue. At Tehsil level you will find subdivisional magistrates, and if we go further below, then you will find at Tehsil level Tehsildars, then Naib Tehsildars, Kanun Go, then Lekpal or village revenue officers. If you want to know anything in a village, like what is the land record, what is the income, what is the family size, then you have to go and meet Lekpal. He keeps the record of all village. Some villages are allocated to him, and he keeps every information about that village with him. Similarly, Kanun Go is head of Lekpal, and he looks after the work of Lekpal. Naib Tehsildars and Tehsildars are responsible for the revenue and issue of certificates. We will see what are the major functions of revenue department. Collection of land revenue and other government dues. Other government dues include excise duty, sales tax, electricity tax, electricity dues, and irrigation dues. Though DM is not directly connected with these, but ultimately the department officials report to him, and he ensures that target of revenue generation in a district is achieved through these agencies. Next major function of revenue department is proper maintenance of land records and recovery of land revenue. Similarly, next important function is issue of income, residence, caste certificate. Fourth is providing relief in case of natural calamities. Besides this, DM is also authorized to issue licenses from arms and cinema halls, cable operators, etc. So these are the major functions of DM. Besides revenue and collection functions, he is also responsible for law and order and developmental programs. In developmental programs, he is assisted, as we have already told, he is assisted by CDO, and CDO in turn is assisted by, as you can see in the organization chart, DDO at one side and PD DRDA. PD means Project Director DRDA and DDO means District Development Officer. Both of them are assisted by BDO, that is Block Development Officers. DDOs are basically administrative heads of block development officers, and sometimes some welfare schemes or developmental schemes are also routed through DDOs. But PD, all anti-poverty program which are being run in rural area is routed through PD DRDA. DRDA is the major agency in a district. The full form of DRDA is District Rural Development Agency. As you can see, PD is the in charge of DRDA and he is assisted by BDO at block level. Then BDO is assisted by ADO SGSY at block level and BDOs, Village Development Officers. Similarly, because DRDA also takes up some work under Vidhayak Nidhi, MP MLA funds, so he is also having assistant engineers and other office staff. So what is DRDA? DRDA is not a government department. It is a registered society registered under Societies Registration Act 1860. The Government of India, when it launched IRDP, decided that there should be a agency at the district level which should look after the poverty alleviation programs exclusively. That's why DRDAs were created at the district level. And Chairman Jila Panchayat is the chairman of the DRDA and District Magistrate is the Chief Executive Officer of the DRDA. It has also got a governing committee which has got DM, public representatives, that means MP and MLAs, DDM NABARD, LDM, RBI representative and other state government officials. Senior state government officials are posted as Project Director DRDA. Major schemes which are routed through DRDA are SGSY. Full form of SGSY is Swarn Jayanti Gram Swarojgar Yojana. How many of you have heard about SGSY? Good. So you know SGSY is Major Rural Poverty Alleviation Program. Similarly, it also coordinates the work of MNREGS, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. You know, the Government of India has launched a program to provide 100 days employment to every rural household in a year, provided its adult members agree to do unskilled manual labor. We have already discussed in detail about these schemes, so I will not be touching upon the details of these schemes. I am just reminding you or giving you a brief about these schemes. Similarly, next scheme which DRDA is concerned is Indra Awas Yojana. This is a scheme in rural areas to provide housing facilities to rural poor. It is for construction or upgradation of houses. Similarly, DRDA also looks after Vidhayak Nidhi and MP fund also. So these are the major schemes or functions of DRDA. We will see what they do. SGSY and DRDA. What is the role of DRDA in SGSY? First is identification of key activities. As you would remember that in SGSY, when we talked about key activities, these are the activities 4 to 5 which will be taken up in a block So these activities are finalized by District SGSY committee, and PDDRDA is the convener of District SGSY committee. Similarly, in SGSY, major finance should go to the groups, and DRDA takes care that enough number of groups, sufficient number of groups are formed in the district. For that, it either appoints facilitators or asks its own staff to form the groups of below poverty line. Next major function of DRDA in SGSY is coordination with banks, because just formation of groups will not help. The groups have to take up some economic activity, and for that they need bank loans. Then next is subsidy administration. You know, SGSY has got a component of subsidy, and DRDA is coordinating the work of subsidy. It gets the subsidy from state government, releases it to blocks, maintains the records, and also follows up with the banks that once they get the subsidy, they should release the loan timely. So these are the major work in SGSY which DRDA handles. Next is monitoring of progress. Yeah, this is also another very important work. The PDDRDA and BDOs etc. are required to convene block level SGSY meetings, district level SGSY meeting. They have to attend BLBC meetings and also make visits to the groups to know what is happening at the field level. By this, they can make necessary changes in the implementation of program and also follow up with the state government if any policy change is required. Next is Indira Awas Yojana. Here the beneficiaries are identified by Gram Sabha from the below poverty line list maintained by them. DRDA maintains wait list of beneficiaries and also releases the funds to blocks. You will remember that Indira Awas Yojana is not a bank loan cum subsidy scheme. It is purely grant scheme, and DRDA releases grant to blocks and blocks in turn releases grant to beneficiaries. Next major departments which are functioning in the district are agriculture department. You will remember that recently, because of the prices of onion, the central government, state government, every government was under tremendous pressure. So the role of agriculture department in development of the country is very important, and even now 60% of our population is dependent on agriculture. So we will be talking about the agriculture. These departments are mainly in context of UP. Here DD Agriculture, that is Deputy Director Agriculture, is the head at the district level, and he is assisted by DAO. DAO means District Agriculture Officer. Then at Tehsil level you have got Sub-Divisional Officers Agriculture and SMS. SMS is Subject Matter Specialists. So Tehsil level we have got 2 officials. Then at block level we have got ADO AG, that is Assistant Development Officers Agriculture, and at Nyay Panchayat level we have got Kisan Sahayaks. So the department has got elaborate arrangement to reach to farmers. We will see what other functionaries are under agriculture department. One is Soil Conservation Officer, Plant Protection Officer, Assistant Director Soil, District Horticulture Officer, District Cane Officer. In following discussions, we will be talking about the agriculture department we will be talking about the plant protection officer, we will be talking about the district horticulture officer and also district cane officer. So let us go to what is the work of DD Agriculture. DD, as you know, DD is Deputy Director Agriculture. So first is extension activities. Training and visit of farmers are to be arranged by Deputy Director Agriculture. Then technology transfer through demonstration plats, etc. And he is also authorized to release subsidies on inputs like seeds, agriculture implements, etc. The major focus is to improve the production and productivity of agriculture in the district, and he takes care that extension activities and technology transfer takes place. Besides, the farmers also get incentives on inputs. So in this way he tries to improve the production and productivity. Next is district agriculture officer. He maintains the district farm, that is state government agriculture farms. Then he issues licenses for seed, fertilizer shops. His work is also to see the quality of the seeds and fertilizers being sold in the district. That's why he is authorized to carry out inspection of seed and fertilizer shops. Then he convenes DLTC meetings. DLTC, full form of DLTC is District Level Technical Committee. As you know, the bankers provide the finance for growing crops, and this meeting fixes up a scale of finance for these crops. Scale of finance means the average cost of cultivation for growing the crops, and banks follow these scale of finance. So that is one of the major role of district agriculture officer. He also extends support in extending the coverage of KCC. That means through his officials he identifies the farmers who have not been issued KCC, and the bankers are requested to issue KCC to these farmers. Similarly, he also works for extending coverage of RKBY. RKBY full form is Rashtriya Krishi Bima Yojana, that is crop insurance scheme, and every farmer who avails loan from banks is to be covered under this scheme. Next major official concerned with agriculture is plant protection officer. His job is to see that enough pesticide, insecticide, herbicides, etc. are available to the farmers, and the farmers are aware about the not only about the availability but also about the use. So he also trains the farmers. His another work is issue of licenses for pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, etc. He is also authorized to ensure quality through inspection of these shops. Next major work is IPM demonstration. IPM means integrated pest management. As you know, nowadays because of the overuse of chemicals in agriculture, the problems of chemical residue has emerged, and now the scientists are talking about the methods to control the chemicals in agriculture. So IPM is a method where not only chemicals are used for plant protection but cultural practices. By cultural practices we mean like crop rotation, proper row and plant spacing. Similarly, there are mechanical devices and biological control systems. Biological control system means preserving the friend insects in the field through which we can destroy the other insecticides. So these techniques he has to demonstrate he has to train through his to train the farmers through the officials, and in many districts there are labs, IPM labs, which make the organic or biopesticides. Next major officer who is concerned with agriculture is soil conservation officer. He is concerned with the quality of land and improvement of land, reclamation of land through land leveling, and also improving the soil quality. You know, there are two types of soils. One is acidic, where pH is below 6.5%. Another is alkaline, where pH is above 7%. So he provides guidance to farmers and also necessary inputs to be used in these soils so that they can become normal and proper yields can be taken from these fields. Next important thing is watershed implementation. You know, 60% of our agriculture is still rain fed, and Government of India has recognized the importance of watershed in rain fed agriculture. Watershed means conserving the water and optimizing the use of every drop of water. So for this, watershed implementation programs under RIDF and integrated watershed development project is being taken up by soil conservation officer. He also promotes watershed management groups, because every time once the land treatment is completed, the necessary structures are created, then to take care of those structures, it is necessary that the farmers or rural population is involved in their management. That's why this department also promotes watershed management groups. Next major department which is concerned with agriculture is horticulture and food processing department. The major areas or major components are development of fruit crops, development of vegetable crops including potato, spices, etc., medicinal and aromatic crops, floriculture, food processing, beekeeping and mushroom cultivation, and in UP, betel development is also being looked after by horticulture department. Objectives of the department is improving the productivity and quality of horticulture crops by making available latest technology to farmers. That means the major emphasis is on technology transfer and making farmers aware about the latest technology available. Next, which is another very important area, is encouraging the farmers to use the recommended inputs scientifically and in time, because the experience says that farmers tend to overuse the inputs because they feel if they give more input they will get more output, but that has led to deterioration of soil quality and also water quality. So it is very necessary that department uses all his knowledge and manpower to tell farmers to use the recommended inputs. Next is development of storage, quality control and marketing. As we all know that in case of horticulture crops, perishable goods, more than 30% of the produce is wasted because we don't have proper storage facilities. So next important objective of department is development of storage, quality control and providing marketing facilities. For storage, cold storage facilities are to be created. Next is intensification of horticulture crops. and training of farmers and department officials. It is another major objective because just providing technology to farmers will not help unless they know how to use it. And before farmers know, the department officials should also be aware about the technology and its use. So, the training of farmers and department officials assume great importance. Another major objective is promoting fruit and vegetable preservation, mushroom and beekeeping, and wattle cultivation. So, these are the major objective of horticulture department in the district. If we have a look at the organizational structure at district, then district horticulture officer is the head at the district level. He is assisted by senior horticulture inspector and assistant horticulture inspector. The major functions of DHO: he is responsible for promotion and cultivation of horticulture crops and also medicinal and aromatic crops. He maintains seed farms and government nurseries so that good quality seeds and seedlings could be provided to the farmers. He implements the activities under National Horticulture Mission or State Horticulture Mission. You all know, you may be knowing that National Horticulture Mission has been launched by Government of India to promote the horticulture, and there is provision of subsidy under various components in the horticulture mission. So, the job of horticulture officer is to identify the beneficiaries, motivate them to take up activity and provide them necessary help and guidance. Next major item of work of district horticulture officer is training of farmer and release of subsidy for seeds, bulbs, vermi hatchery units, etc. So friends, now we will be talking about the cane department. As you know, sugar cane is very important crop in Uttar Pradesh, and around 10 to 15% of the farmers are engaged in the production of sugar cane. So there is a separate department which is called cane department, which looks after the cane development in the state. So the major objective of this department is to maximize productivity as well as production of cane in minimum land area. Minimum land area because there are competing demands from other crops and also urbanization. So that's why it is necessary that productivity is increased. For that, they need to supply promising and healthy cane seeds, which are called sets, to the farmers. They also establish foundation and primary cane nurseries on the fields of progressive farmers. They also try to popularize better varieties. By better varieties means which take less time for harvesting and whose sugar recovery percentage is higher. In UP, average sugar recovery percentage in cane is between 8 to 8.5%, while in case of Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, it varies from 9 to 10%. So there is every need to increase the sugar recovery in our sugar cane. They also supply plant protection chemicals, that means pesticides and agriculture implements, to cane growers on subsidized rates. Similarly, they provide chemical fertilizers to cane grower. Another function of the department is to provide necessary and useful training to cane growers regarding scientific cultivation of sugar cane, and to construct inter-village roads for easy movement of sugar cane in the reserved areas of sugar mills. So the gamut of their functions not only include the provision of agriculture inputs and training, but also providing necessary infrastructure so that the movement of sugarcane can be ensured. Another major function is to earmark the area to sugar mills from where they can procure the sugarcane. So these are the major functions of cane department. Cane department at district level is headed by district cane officer. He is assisted by senior cane inspector, cane development inspector and cane supervisor. Besides cane department, two other organizations structures are functioning at the district level. One is Cane Development Union. These unions were started in 1948-49 to facilitate development and promotion of intensive cane cultivation, and their major functions include advice and assistance to farmers for cane development programs regarding agriculture inputs, irrigation, fertilizer and pesticide, etc. They act as coordinator between sugar mills and cane farmers, and they are also engaged in construction of roads in villages in the area of sugar mills. So their role is very important, and they ensure that mills get proper sugarcane from their reserved areas. Another structure which is functioning is cane cooperative societies. These societies were started in 1935-36 to ensure remunerative prices for cane farmers. Their major functions include ensuring payment to their members, ensuring loan facility to their members, sale of fertilizers, pesticides, seeds and agriculture implements. As we know, for providing loans to farmers for other crops, there are Farmer Service Society and Primary Agriculture Society. Similarly, for cane growers, there are cane cooperative societies which take limit from district central cooperative bank and in turn lend to their members. So they are affiliated to DCCBs and they provide lending facility to their members, and their major function is to ensure that their members get proper payment from the mills. Next major department is minor irrigation department. The objective is to promote private means of irrigation by farmers. As we all know that 70% of the irrigation water comes from underground water sources, and to utilize underground water sources you need to have your own structure so that you can irrigate your field. To provide these facilities at district level, we have got assistant engineer minor irrigation, junior engineer and technicians. Their major activity is making available boring facilities for private tube wells, because for boring a well you need technical expertise and also separate facilities. The minor irrigation department makes them available to the farmers. They provide guidance to farmers where to dig well, how to use the machinery, and they also arrange for loan and subsidy. Their major schemes are free boring scheme. Free boring scheme means here the government provides free boring to the farmers and they can purchase pump set through bank loans where subsidy is provided by the state government. But many areas the tube well will not suffice because the water is found at greater depth. So the state government has launched two more schemes. One is called medium deep tube well scheme, where depth of underground water can be up to 60 meters. Here also government provides subsidy. Then there is another structure which is called artesian wells, These are found especially in Agra, Manpuri, Etawah and Jalon districts. Similarly, the minor irrigation department is also engaged in construction of check dams which help in groundwater recharge. As you know, the groundwater level is falling day by day and there is urgent need to recharge the groundwater. That's why minor irrigation department has also been entrusted with this responsibility, and we can have a look at the photograph of check dam. You can see here water is stopped, and when it is stored at a place for a longer time, the water seeps down and helps in increasing the groundwater recharge. So this is the function of check dam. Then we will move to UP Agro Industrial Corporation. As you know, the farming over a period of time have become mechanized, and there was a great need to provide proper implements to farmers. That's why the state government established UP Agro Industrial Corporation in 1967. You will also remember that Green Revolution in the country was launched in 1966. At the same time, the government felt the need for providing better agriculture implements, and this corporation was established. Its main functions are manufacturing and sale of improved agriculture implements to farmers, and also supply of agriculture inputs, tractors and power tillers. At district level, they have got two major officials. One is district sales officer, another is service engineer, because just making sales do not suffice. The department has to provide after sales service. That's why they also need to have service engineers and other technicians. Their activities include sale of tractors and power tiller and providing after sale service. Here they also provide subsidy on these tractors and power tillers. Similarly, they also sell the power operated and bullock driven agriculture implements like cultivator, harrow. Besides, they have also diversified, and they manufacture steel containers, cattle feed, etc., and arrange for sale of these steel containers, cattle feed through district sales officers. They also sell agriculture inputs like seed, fertilizers, pesticides and gypsum, etc. As you will notice that in a district, supply of agriculture inputs are ensured through primary agriculture cooperative societies, through cane cooperative societies, through UP Agro Industrial Development Corporation, and also through IFFCO, CRIFCO and private dealers. So many outlets, many agencies have been created so that farmers get the agriculture inputs in time. Over a period of time, UP Agro has also diversified in the area of beekeeping and organic farming. They provide training to farmers and also arrange for sale of these outputs. Next major organization functioning in the district is Krishi Vigyan Kendra. These Krishi Vigyan Kendras are also called Farm Science Center. First KVK was established in Pondicherry in 1974, which was under the administrative control of Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore. Keeping in view the utility of KVKs, their number have increased over a period of time, and at present there are 567 KVKs operating in the country. These KVKs can be run by state agriculture universities, central agriculture universities, ICAR institutions, NGOs, state government, public sector units, and other educational institutions. The mandate of Krishi Vigyan Kendra is technology assessment, refinement, and demonstration of technology. That means their activities includes on-farm testing to identify local specificity of agriculture technology. That means the technologies developed by agriculture universities are tested in the field to know whether the particular technology is suitable for that district or not. Then they are also engaged in frontline demonstrations in farmers' field. By frontline demonstrations, we mean that these are the demonstration in case of technologies or seeds which are being implemented for the first time. You will remember that agriculture department DDAG also gives sanction for demonstration plot, but there is a difference. Here frontline demonstration, as I have already told, means any technology or seed which is being demonstrated for the first time, and it should be done in the farmer's field so that people know better about this technology and their extension is possible. Then next major work of KVK is training of farmers and extension workers, and every KVK has got a field. There they grow seeds and planting material. They also supply these seeds and planting materials to the farmers. So the major role of KVK is to see what technology is best suited in the district and how it can be transferred to the farmer. Over a period of time, the role of marketing in agriculture sector has increased. So National Commission on Farmer has recommended that a post-harvest technologist should also be posted to KVKs so that he can take care of the marketing aspect of the agriculture activities. Till now, we were talking about the various departments which were concerned with agriculture, but as you know, besides agriculture, animal husbandry sector also provides employment opportunities to majority or to a large number of farmers in our rural areas. So to take care of the various activities of these sector, there is separate animal husbandry department which functions at state and district level both. We will see what are their main objective. First objective is to provide healthcare facilities to animals. Before we go further, you might be knowing that livestock development depends on 4 pillars. One is breeding, another is feeding, then management and healthcare facilities. So feeding and management, these are the training aspects, and these differ from farmer to farmer. So the primary role of department is related to providing healthcare facility and breeding facilities, and it also intervenes by training the farmers in feeding and better management. So its major functions are to provide healthcare facilities to animals. Here the diagnosis, treatment and vaccination are the major areas, and to provide healthcare facilities, they maintain veterinary hospitals at district block level and Pasu Seva Kendra in selected villages. Next major work is to provide breeding facilities with advanced technology and improved genetic stock. We all know that to improve the breed, the department has resorted to artificial insemination facility, because natural service has many times not produced the desired results. That's why this is one of the major area of intervention. Then to improve feed and fodder resources through extension of area of fodder cultivation with improved fodder varieties, because the number of animals are increasing day by day and we need enough fodder resources if we want to maintain large animal population. So another role is to improve the feed and fodder cultivation. Next is to help in quality meat production based on international quality control measures and regulation of meat export. That means promotion of sheep, goat and piggery also. Then they also need to maintain genetic diversity. As we know, over a period of time, the Government of India and state governments have adopted the cross breeding program, because of which the indigenous breeds of cows and buffaloes are becoming extinct. So now conservation of indigenous breeds have also become important. Next important activity is to develop all livestock species and poultry with marketing backup and support services. Structure at district level consists of Chief Veterinary Officer, Sheep and Goat Development Officer, Chief Technical Officer, Veterinary Officer. Then at block level you have got veterinary officers, and at villages or panchayat level we have got livestock extension officers. So this is the structure. Major activities in the district again is to provide healthcare facilities, promoting scientific breeding through AI or natural service, launching disease control programs. Here the department every year take up vaccination program, especially in case of foot and mouth disease. This is a prevalent disease among the animals, though its mortality is not high, but it affects the milk production. That's why every year this vaccination program is taken up. Then next important activity is promoting self-employment opportunities among unemployed youth. It is very easy for rural youth to take up dairying or goat rearing, and department provides them training also. So these are the major activities of animal husbandry department in a district. You can have a look at the picture of Sahiwal cow. This is one of the indigenous variety of our country, and the government is trying to promote this through pure breeding. There are three systems of breeding. One is pure breeding, that means where the same breed is allowed to mate. Then there is a system called cross breeding, where two different varieties are allowed to cross. And there is a system called grading up. That means when graded Murrah bull is allowed to mate with nondescript buffalo, that is called grading up. So these are the three systems of breeding. After animal husbandry, we will go to another important sector, which is fisheries. And for fisheries, at the district level we have got fish farmer development agencies. The fish farmer development agencies were established to promote scientific pisciculture and expansion of inland fisheries through provision of training, bank loan and subsidy. Organizational structure at the district level is assistant director, or he is also called chief executive officer of fish farmer development agency. He is assisted by senior fisheries inspector or fisheries extension officer, and then fisheries development officer or fisheries extension assistants. These officials also visit block level and encourage farmers to take up fisheries. The objective of FFDA is use of existing water resources for fisheries development. That means the pond areas or riverine fisheries are promoted by this department. Then next objective is optimization of production through scientific rearing. By scientific rearing we mean that there are varieties which can feed at different levels of water, at surface level, at middle level and bottom level. So the department tries to promote composite fish culture where 6 varieties are grown. 3 are Chinese varieties and 3 are Indian varieties. The Chinese varieties are silver carp, common carp, grass carp, and Indian varieties are rohu, katla and mrigal. So that way if you stock all the 6 varieties in a pond, you can optimize the production. So department through its training tries to optimize the production, and it creates employment opportunities for the youth. The major activities of FFDA is identification of beneficiaries, then arranging lease of Gram Sabha ponds to beneficiaries through revenue department, because till now farmers are not generally using the private land for fisheries. So department arranges for 10-year lease for beneficiaries at a very small amount. It provides training to fish farmers. In training, it also provides a stipend to the farmers. Besides, it arranges bank loan and provides subsidy for renovation or development of new pond, fingerlings and other inputs. So major activity of this department includes identification, training and providing bank loans and subsidies. Besides, it also creates infrastructure like fish market. For this, we have seen that the fisheries department has also borrowed from NABARD under RIDF for creating fish markets in many places. Then it helps in formation of fishermen cooperatives. It implements Fishermen Awas Yojana, under which houses are given to fishermen. Then it implements Fishermen Accident Insurance Scheme also. This is in short the activities of Fish Farmer Development Agency in a district. Till now we were talking about the activities relating to agriculture and allied sector. Now we will be moving to industries sector, and for promoting the small industries in a district, the government came up with the concept of district industry center, and these were established in 1978-79. The objectives of DICs are creating employment through establishment of small cottage and rural industries, making available all facilities and information for setting up a unit under one roof, arranging necessary facilities for industrial development. That means developing industrial estates, then providing technology and promoting entrepreneurship. Providing technology means arranging for training or exposure visits of farmers or of entrepreneurs. The structure at DIC at the district level is that general manager is in charge of DIC. He is assisted by manager credit, manager projects and manager marketing, and they are in turn assisted by assistant managers at block level. So this is in short the structure. The Major activities of DIC at present include identification of beneficiaries and sponsoring of application under PMEGP. By PMEGP we mean Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. As you know, earlier DIC was implementing Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, but since 2008 the PMRY and Rural Employment Guarantee Program of KVYC have been merged and a consolidated program has been launched, and DIC has been given the responsibility of identification of beneficiaries and sponsoring their application to the banks. Next is implementation of single window system. By single window system we mean that all information which an entrepreneur needs should be available and all facilities should be available through DIC to him. Then next major thing is to convene meeting of Jila Udyog Bandhu. Jila Udyog Bandhu is a committee of industrialists, entrepreneurs, government departments, banks, where this committee meets to sort out the problem in promotion of new industries and running of existing industries. Next major function of DIC is to promote entrepreneurship, for which they conduct EDPs and Rural Entrepreneurship Development Program. Another major function is monitoring of the progress, for which they participate in district level consultative committee meetings and also block level banker committee meetings. These are the major functions of DIC at the district level. Next is New and Renewable Energy Development Agency. As we were talking in the beginning, that the government has touched every part of our life. It has also touched how we use energy sources. As you all know, we are using fossil fuel, which is creating pollution and which is depleting very fast. That's why there is need to concentrate on new and renewable energy sources, and this agency works exclusively for this. The major objective is to generate awareness about renewable and new energy systems, promotion and extension of renewable and new energy technologies and devices, facilitating the setting up of new power generation plant based on renewable and new energy. Various uses are solar home light system, solar pump sets, solar water heater system, solar cooker, solar lanterns, bagasse based electric cogeneration plants. As we all know, still there are many villages in our country and in our state where electricity is not available, and the solar home light system is a great way to provide the light to these areas. Department helps in creating awareness about this system, and the banks have also come forward for financing these systems. There are many banks in UP like Aryavrat, Prathama, which are doing great work in financing solar home light systems. Next is solar pump sets. These pump sets can be used up to a depth of 20 feet, and the farmers don't need any electricity or diesel to operate these pump sets. Earlier, the government was providing a subsidy on these sets, but when the subsidy was withdrawn, the demand for these pump sets have also decreased. Then there is solar water heater and solar cookers which can be used, and many sugar factories are using bagasse based electric cogeneration plants. They are generating electricity and supplying to UP Power Grid Corporation. These are the few pictures: solar cooker and solar water system. Besides these departments about whom we have talked, there is district social welfare officer who looks after the pensions or social assistance program of the government, like pensions to old persons, pensions to widows. So these are being looked after by him. Similarly, the government has got a district science officer to promote the scientific temperament in the population. The district science officer arranges various awareness program, training programs, not only in villages but also in the schools and colleges. So we have seen so far in this session, we have discussed about the role of district magistrate in the district. We have discussed about the role of CDO, role of PDDRDA, and also various officials associated with the agriculture development, like district agriculture officer, district horticulture officer, district cane officer. Then we have discussed about the role of animal husbandry department in a district, fisheries department in a district, and also industries department in a district, and national NEDA, non-conventional energy department in a district. So in short, we have seen that these departments help in improving the quality of our lives, and the more we are aware about their schemes, the more benefit we can get, and the more we can improve our quality of life.